Hello, in this tutorial I'm going to demonstrate how to use CSS. As you can see on my desktop, I have two browser windows open. In the top panel I actually have the web page, and this is being rendered using CSS. And in the bottom browser window, I have the same web page, but it's being styled with straight HTML. I'm going to close both of these browser windows, and as you can see I have my www folder open and I have my index page. I'm going to right click on my index page and I'm going to open with Notepad++. Okay, now as we can see I do have a lot of formatting in this index page, and we want to transfer this formatting to my style sheet. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click File, New. Okay, and notice my index page is still open if I want to refer back to it. But on this new page, I am going to change the language to CSS, and that of course will help me generate my code. Okay, so if we go back to the index page, we can see that the body has a background color of gray. That's the hexadecimal value for gray. The pound symbol, and then CC, CC, CC. So in my style sheet, I'm going to type body. I'm going to tab over, and I'm going to place my first open curly bracket. I'm going to hit return or enter, tab over, and I'm going to type background slash color colon hexadecimal, well, the pound symbol, and then gray, C, 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 and then my semicolon. And then I'm going to press return, and then I'm going to shift tab, and I'm going to place my closing curly bracket. Okay, and the color coding appears to be correct, so I don't think I have any syntax errors at this time. Okay, and then if we go back to my index, I can simply remove this now. We no longer need this because I'm going to style it with the style page. And we do want to remember to go back and remove this formatting, otherwise we'll have a conflict between the HTML and the CSS. Okay, now what I'm going to do, since I have several table attributes, I'm going to select them, and then I'm going to cut them. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, and I'll get rid of that extra space. And then I'm going to go, and this is for the table. So I'm going to go back into my style sheet, and I'm going to type table, tab, opening curly bracket, and then I'm going to put a couple lines in to work with, my closing curly bracket, and now I'm going to paste those attributes. And I'm just going to place each of these on its own line so you can see how this gets transferred over. Alright, so my first declaration is going to be width colon 900 pixels, and I do want to use the unit of measurement, and then I'm going to close it with a semicolon, return. My second declaration or style is going to be border. Okay, now this one is going to have several values. First of all, it's going to be 1 pixel, it's going to be solid, and the color is going to be black, which is hexadecimal, the pound symbol, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then I'm going to close it with my semicolon. Okay, and tab over. Let's see. Oh, the background color. Background dash color colon space pound symbol, and this is going to be white. F F F F F F semicolon. Okay, and I'm not going to apply cell padding to the table. I'm going to actually do that to the table data selector. So I'm going to do table data, open curly bracket, space down, padding, colon. Now, I do need to put in all 4 values. And the way we know the order of our values, we just work our way around the sides of the box. So 10 pixels on the top, 10 pixels on the right, 10 pixels on the bottom, 10 pixels on the left. Then I'm going to close it. And now I have captured all of these 5 attributes into my style sheet. So I'm going to simply highlight this and delete it. And I do need to close my my style. Okay. And notice that all of my red went away, so this appears to be correct. Good. Now remember this, that padding refers to the spacing inside the container, inside the cell, so that when my text is rendered inside my table, I'll have a nice margin of white space going around so that my text or my images will not be butted up against the side of the cell or the side of the table. Okay, now I'm going to save. Okay, and I'm going to navigate to my desktop, my www, and on all types, that's fine. I'm going to call this styles1.css. Okay, I do think CSS is listed here. I could have changed it to that. Now, if you do that, then you want to remove that from the file name. Otherwise, you'll be naming it styles1.css.css. Okay, so now I'm ready to hit save. Okay, and now I have my style sheet. Okay, now I need to link my style sheet to my web page, and if you may remember from the lecture, we do want to place this in the head. I actually have a little bit of a cheat file on my desktop, and I encourage students to do this. It's called CSS Snippets, and it's just a text file that I created in Notepad. And I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to select this top line of code, edit and copy. Now, snippets, this is a programming term. It means a couple of things, but the way I'm using it here is that basically this is code that I use frequently, and that it's easy for me to just simply copy and paste, because I'll end up using this code again. So now that I've copied that, I'm going to close. Okay, I'm going to go back into Notepad++, and now inside my head section, below the title, I'm going to edit, paste, and now I have linked this style sheet to this web page. And we'll just look at this quickly. Number 1, it needs to be in the head section. It can be below the title or above, but usually it's good form to place it below the title. Link is my element or my selector, and then these are my attributes. Hyperlink reference, that's the name of my style sheet. The relative type is that it's a style sheet, and of course the type is it's text or CSS. Okay, so now I'm going to save all of this. Save all, and now I'm going to close Notepad++. Okay, so now in my WW folder, I have my index page and my style sheet. Now, look at the style icon. I don't want you to be alarmed if your icon does not look like this. I suspect for most students, the icon will resemble my CSS snippets, but I actually have Dreamweaver installed on this machine, and it's picking up this symbol from the Dreamweaver, because if I double click on this, it will open by default in Dreamweaver and not Notepad++. Okay, so now I'm going to double click on my index page, and as we can see, it has picked up the styling. We're not finished yet, but it did create my table 900 pixels wide. I have a gray background for the body, a white background for the table. Okay, and I also have the padding. That's what's creating this white space on either side. Okay, so this looks really good. Now we just need to just finish it. Okay, so I'm going to close this. If I wanted to, I could leave it open, but I just think it's a good habit to completely open and close the web page just so that it'll automatically refresh. Okay, I'm going to right-click again on my index. I'm going to open with Notepad++. Okay, and notice that my style is still open. Okay, if I did want to close this, I would just simply hit File and then Close or Close All for both. Okay, let's see. Let's go back into our index. What else can we do? Okay, notice that for web page using CSS, I have several formatting tags going on at the same time, and this is really too code intensive. This will be much easier doing this in CSS. So I'm going to simply copy this in the font web page using CSS. The font color is this hexadecimal value, which is blue. The size is +1, meaning plus the font size is one size larger than the default, and the font face is Arial, and then I have my bold tag. Okay, so I've selected that, and I'm going to cut it, and then of course I need to get rid of the closing font tag and the closing bold tag. All right, and so now I'm going to go into my style sheet, and I'm going to create a custom tag, dot header 1. I'm going to tab over, put my opening curly bracket, space down, okay, and I'm going to paste that all that formatting so I will remember it. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is the color, colon, hexadecimal value 0033FF, close it with a semicolon, size, okay. Now, if I wanted to, there's a lot of different things we could do. We could actually put in a pixel value, or I could simply type large, okay. If you refer to the W3 schools, there are numerous ways to apply size. All of them work, and you should just use what you're comfortable using. And then finally, well, two more things. We need to do weight, and this is going to be bold. You know what? I hope I'm doing that right. I think I may need to check my CSS. I'm going to go back to my snippets. And oh, font weight, that's why it didn't come across correctly. Okay, so let me go back into Notepad++. Font weight is bold, and now and then the font face is going to be Arial, which we're actually going to put this in the body. Okay, so I'm going to come back up to my body. I'm going to add another declaration, font family Arial, and I can make this multi-valued. I'm going to do sans serif, and then I'm going to close that. So I've added all of these different formatting attributes into my style sheet. So now I'm going to eliminate that line of code. I'm going to back up, and I'm going to put my closing curly bracket. Now, you'll notice that head 1 remains red, and the reason why is that's how Notepad++ identifies a class or instead of, we know that table and body are regular HTML elements. Okay, so now I'm going to File, Save All. I'm going to close Notepad++, and let's see if my changes came across. And they did. Notice that the font family now is Arial, and now one thing I didn't do, I need to change my HTML to apply that special class to this tag. So I'm going to go back into Notepad++. Okay, and you may remember, if I want to apply this special class or selector, custom special class or selector, I need to put that in my HTML. So for this paragraph, I'm going to type class equals header, and we do not use the period, 1. Okay, so I am applying this class to this paragraph, and this class will end where the closing paragraph tag is. So I will do File, Save All. The nice thing about doing Save All is that if I've made any changes to my style sheet, both sets of changes will be saved. Okay, I'm going to close Notepad++, double click on my index page, and as we can see, it has picked up the new class. It is blue, it is bold, and the font size is larger, just a little bit larger than my regular font. Okay, I'm going to close that. Now we want to turn on the borders inside the table. So I'm going to right-click on my style, open with Notepad++, and for the table data, okay, I also need to use border. If I wanted to, I could just simply copy this line of code and paste it. Now, I have pasted it, so I do want to make sure that I only have one space. So I'm going to use a proper form and syntax. So File, Save All, close Notepad++, open up my web page, and as you can see, it has picked it up. Okay, so as you can see, you know, here's the real beauty of using CSS. I only have one page, but let's say that I had 2 pages or 20 pages or 200 pages. As long as each page is linked to my style sheet, the changes that I make in the style sheet will cascade and affect all the websites. Think how much time a web developer could save if the organization decides that they want to change their background color to green, rather than changing that one line of code in 10 pages or 100 pages. We only change it in one location, which is the style sheet. Okay, and you know, just to be clear, I'm going to open up my web page again. It is important that you do use that proper line of code to link it. I hope this demonstration helps in your understanding of CSS cascading style sheets.